Good morning, September 9th today. We're on our walk this morning on another heritage road, although it doesn't feel like a heritage road, it's Warburton. Always seems to be some traffic on it. I just saw a dump truck go by. So I don't know what the regulations are on heritage roads, but this is definitely one of the most active of them, at least in the area I live. Anyway, let's get on to the walking. I'm going to switch cameras here. Alright, so today's Friday, last day of the work week. I've got a bit of a day trip I'm doing tomorrow over to the mainland. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to do my video shoot tomorrow. But yeah, I'm enjoying my gimbal. This is definitely a neat toy. There's still some practicing I need to do to really maximize everything I can do with it. But yeah, it's quite impressive. And I'm happy with my new mic too. So yeah, when I'm just taking my nature shots, I'm mostly going to be pointing the mic. I can actually clip the mic onto my phone essentially, and you don't have to hear my breathing when I'm huffing up mountains. I'm just trying to do, or hopping up hills. I mean, if I'm just trying to do some nature stuff while I'm walking and talking. It's even a bit better, I think, too. So, which is good. But yeah. The other thing I'm kind of looking forward to now is I'm gonna do a phone upgrade at some point. So I was watching the Apple event yesterday. Some interesting tech on the new phones, so I think I might try and upgrade to the newer Pro model, and then I really ought to have a pretty neat little video handheld setup. It's funny how technology's changed since I've been shooting video. I kind of got it into as a little hobby of mine, and 10-15 years ago. And back then, of course, phones were not nearly all that capable for cameras, so I'd have like handheld Sony cams and all that sort of stuff. Now you can basically do everything with your phone, which is pretty impressive, and there's lots of accessories. So yeah, it's interesting how technology has really opened up what people can do and who can create. That's kind of been me watching computers throughout my whole life. I started off using computers when I was around. Sorry, Mike. I started using computers when I was like 10 or so. And yeah, they're just big desktop things that, or the really tiny ones that I had. I'll show a video of that sometime. So my sister wrote a comment in one of my videos the other day. I just noticed it after I posted my video for yesterday. And she was asking what sort of, before I was diagnosed, what symptoms were there that I reflect upon after the fact that I would have noticed. For me, the things that I noticed in the days and weeks leading up to my hospitalization, the biggest one was my vision started to blur. So I thought it was just, I'm in my 40s, and certainly ever since my early 40s, my vision has started to change and deteriorate. Is all it happens to all of us in our 40s. So I just thought I was going through another period where my eyes had, degraded again, and I was thinking about getting a new prescription. But once I was hospitalized, that context changed, and so it's about, I was essentially causing damage to my visual system. But it's as long as, because my blood sugar was just spiked all the time, I think, or at least for very long periods of time. Other things that I noticed, well, my diabetic ketoacidosis, the way that that exhibited itself was I started to, I couldn't keep anything down. Of course, my typical, at that point, remedies for when I was feeling sick and throwing things up, I'd eat something that was soft and cold and soothing, which often meant things like ice cream and orange juice and things that are just sugar. So, Nibbler, come. Sorry, he was wandering. Good job, puppy. Yeah, I was just exacerbating the problem. So essentially every day I was not keeping much down, and I was throwing up regularly, and it just, I think probably when my blood sugar levels started to ease, I was getting a bit better, but, I kept sort of giving myself sugar in different forms as a way to try and help ease the feeling of my throat being all ripped up from throwing up, and just, yeah. And that just caused me to get spiral until the last day. Well, the day that Jacqueline took me in, if she hadn't have taken me, I likely would have expired, because by the time we got to the emergency room, I think I have memory of being in the car, but I don't have memory of anything for the rest of the day except until I woke up in the ICU. So by the time I realized I needed help, there was no way I was able to help myself, and I was thankful that I had somebody there to watch over me. So yeah, it's about just trying to, if I had just been better at balancing meals, done a little more exercise, in the years before, I might have avoided this fate, or at least delayed it for some time. And it's one of those things. It's like, it's one of the easiest things that you can do if you're at least pre-diabetic or susceptible to type 2. Eat well, lots of greens, lots of full rounded meals. Don't carb load, and exercise. And those basic steps, which should be everyone's regular maintenance of their body, at least if you want to stay healthy, can do lots. But I guess kind of relates into what I was talking about with fast food. There's so much of our food sources, especially in prepared meals, that unless you know what you're looking for, you can be setting yourself easily on a route to being diabetic just by focusing on the stuff that tastes the best. Because the stuff that tastes the best is usually laced with all those parts that we know, like sugar, that in small amounts are fine, but if you just focus on consuming abundant amounts of that, overabundant amounts of that, of sugar and carbohydrates, you're putting yourself on that road, which is what I did. I really never had a lot of regard for my own health, and especially diet. I always kind of just ate whatever I wanted, and yeah, that had an impact. Oh. Puppy, which way do you want to go? Let's go up. Ooh, got our summit. We're on our way back. I'm on the Princeton Road right now, which is the old road that used to go between Charlottetown and Princeton, just north of Kensington. And hang on here. There we go. I do like my gimbals controlled. But yeah, so yeah, this is kind of, you can still find most of this road still around. Some of it's still public road, but a lot of it's now either heritage road or like this, which is now just a trail that's used by cyclists and equestrians and people with ATVs, snowmobiles in the winter, I think. And of course walking. But yeah, beautiful little spot right in the middle of the woods. So anyway, Nibbler and I are going to finish our walk, but we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Nibbler. Say goodbye, Nibbler. Bobby. What are you doing? What are you doing? Bobby. What are you doing? What are you sniffing? Bobby.